Hey guys, James with Torches and Tactical, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and click on that subscribe button down below and click on the bell so you can find out when we have new videos, because we like to bring you the latest and greatest of flashlight and tactical technology. And not only that, but we do a ton of giveaways. So go ahead and click on that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. If not, welcome back. And with all that being said, let's get into today's special guest. Now this is the Arkflex. Now if that sounds familiar, yes, it is part of the Arkfeld family from Olight. Now a couple of the quick specifications on this. It does give you up to 1000 lumens, and that is 1900 candela or 85 meters of throw. You also have a high mode of 400 lumens, 100 lumens in medium mode, 15 lumens in low mode, and a moonlight mode of 1.5 lumens, which will run for 10 days. That's right, 10 days of use from this flashlight here. But I mean, there's more to it than just that. It is also IPX water resistant rated. And if you find yourself to be a bit of a klutz like myself, it is drop resistant rated to 1 meter as well. So this comes in at 101 grams. Total dimensions are 108 by 30 by 12 millimeters. And not only that, it does have a 1050 milliamp hour polycell in here, which when using their magnetic charger will charge up in 1 hour and 40 minutes. So if this sounds like an interesting light for you, go ahead and click on the link down below, because right now, up until 12/16 at midnight, Olight is having their Christmas sale. That means you can get the Arkflex and a whole bunch of other items on sale, but the Arkflex specifically is 30% off. And for all orders, you do get an i3E EOS in Snowflake Red. So the total, or rather the entire sale, runs from 12/11 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time all the way to 12/16 at midnight. So go ahead and click on those links below so you can get your own Arkflex or any of the other lights that Olight offers. Now with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at everything that they have in the package. First off, this is the box. It shows up front and center, that Arkflex, so you know exactly what's coming in the package. All the specifications on the back. Boom, there you go. You have your user manual as well. It walks you through step by step how to use every facet of this light. You have your safety warnings. Basically, don't shine it at your friends and right in their eyes or anything like that. You also have an MCC1A charger. Now this is going to connect magnetically to the bottom because they have that proprietary cell in there. And here, I'll actually just go ahead and show you this right out of the gate. So let's go ahead and detach this. Off screen, I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. Have to flip it around 2 or 3 times to get it to work. But okay, now it is plugged in. And right now you'll see this green light here. That's because it's not pulling any current. And if we flip or... well, that's weird. My top light just died. But we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going just the same. So if you clip that on here, you can see firsthand that that little indicator on the side of this did turn red, and that's because it is charging now. And again, this will charge in 1 hour and 40 minutes. So it's really nice because, if you need to, you can just plop this down on your desk and boom, you're ready to go. And so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. But in addition to the actual magnetic charging, there are some battery indicators here on the light. So when the light is on, you right now, each of these indicators, so there's a total of 4, but each of those indicators represents 25% of battery. So 1, 2, 3, we had 3 battery indicators currently, which means that we were between 50 and 75% battery. So that's a good indicator of exactly how full your battery is and when you need to get to a charger. So let's go ahead and take a look at the light now. So here is the Arkflex. You'll see that a lot of the TIR optic in there. There's a bit of a design on this lens here. I'll bring it up here so you can see it. There's a bit of a design on that lens. It does come with dual emitters. And the reason it comes with dual emitters, and I don't know why I haven't said this already, but it's called Arkflex for a reason. Now with Arkflex, it's because, it holds a similar Arkfeld shape, but it has a trick up its sleeve. So this cutout section here, you can see it looks a little bit different, and that's because this has a right angle pivoting head. So you can use this as a magnetic work light because that magnet works just the same as it always has. And in addition to that, you can direct that light exactly where you'd need it to be. So as far as the looks go, I did already tell you the dimensions. So it was 108 by 30 by 12 and it comes in at 101 grams. So, I mean, it's for its size, it's actually pretty hefty if I'm being completely honest. And one thing I was a little concerned with when I first saw pictures that they sent me is how this was going to feel. You know, I was initially thinking maybe you'll have to hold it like a candy bar style light, and then hit the button with your index finger. But one thing I'm finding is that in my right hand, I'm able to throw the light here, and my thumb fits perfectly. There's a little bit of a cutout on the bottom, so that kind of helps direct you. And there's these marks here on the power button, which is metal, by the way. But that light, your thumb is directed to that power button by those marks. So you can tell, you know, no matter which way you grab it in the dark, you can't see anything. You always know which one the power button is. Or, I mean, worst comes to worst, you just give a squeeze on the center of the light completely. And, you know, you're putting pressure on both sides, but it will activate that switch. But that switch is a nice E-switch. It is long, and I'm finding that, you know, well, let me go ahead and show you guys right here. So you can push the bottom of it, you can push the top of it, or you can push right in the center. Now the center does have the best feedback, obviously, but you can activate it by pressing on the top or the bottom either way. So you have a large footprint there, and it does sit in, so you're not having to worry about accidentally pressing it or turning it on. So let's go ahead and move back up to the front. Now these dual emitters, these come in at 6500K and 70 CRI. So no, they don't rank the highest on the CRI scale. You're not sitting at like 98% like some emitter choices. And 6500K is a pretty standard choice for Olight. It's a very cool white light. And at the time of when I got information about this, I do not know if they had other options coming out. So there could be a warm option later, or even released at the same time, but I didn't have that information when I got this. So it is a very smooth style. It is made with the, you guessed it, 6061 aluminum, and there are some machine marks here that give you a lot of grip. And then it seems kind of like they went back to the Arkfeld style pocket clip with this, and I mean it works really well. I know there were a number of people that had an issue with the Arkfeld pocket clip just because it would come down and you can snag this on everything or nothing. I mean, it all comes down to how you're utilizing your light. But you have the Arkflex right here, and then some arrow indicators letting you know that this does slide out this way. Now, if you are worried about this, actually here, let me go ahead and show you this first. So there's your serial number underneath that flexible head. But if you are worried about that flexible head, now I've had this for a number of days now, and I've literally just sat there nonstop, sliding it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it feels exactly like it did the first time. There's quite a bit of resistance. So here, you can see how my finger deforms putting pressure on this. So you can see how much my finger is pushing in. So there's quite a bit of resistance. So if you have a need for it, using it as a right angle light, you know that it's going to stay exactly where you want it to stay. So, I mean, it works really well. I've probably put, honestly, probably 800 to 900 rotations of that head since I've had it, and it feels just the same. So I don't know what technology they're using or what sort of system, but to me it feels almost like a fluid-filled ball head for like a camera tripod. In the fact that it is very fluid, it requires the exact same amount of pressure to start movement as it does to continue moving it. So that like the static load is near identical as getting it started. And then, I mean, it's a nice slim light. So it's something that you can carry on you when you need a work light, but you also want to lay down that power. So this will do a double tap and you get that full 1000 lumens. But speaking of double tap to turbo or double press to turbo, I don't want to get censored here. But speaking of that, let's go ahead and run through this UI real fast. So first and foremost, you press the light once and it turns it on. And it does have a memory mode, so whatever mode you were in other than turbo, it will go back to that when you turn the light on. But if you press and hold, it will go to moonlight. Now this is your 1.5 lumen mode, and this will run for 10 days. But when it's off, if you press and hold, you'll get your moonlight. Keep pressing and holding, and then you'll get that red indicator right here. Now that is going to lock out your light. So you can sit here and press this all day, and you never have to worry about it turning on in your pocket. It's not going to do anything until you press and hold again. And then once you get your moonlight mode back, then you know that you're back in business, and you can do a double press. Or actually here, let's get to the double press here in a second. But when the light is on, you can press and hold. You can press and hold, and it'll cycle through all of your modes just fine. So you got your low, medium, high, low, medium, high. So on the regular rotation, it doesn't hit moonlight or turbo. So if you want that moonlight, again, press and hold, then you can press. So we're at high right now, and if this is 400 lumens, and if you want that 1000 lumens, do a double press. So there we go, that is 1000 lumens from the Arkflex. And then it does also have one more option. It does have a strobe built into it. So if you do 3 presses, you do get a strobe. Now this works really, really well. And one thing I'm glad to see is, I know the Arkfeld Pro, the later revisions of it, or the later versions, they did switch that strobe and that turbo mode. So it actually ended up being 3 for turbo and then 2 for strobe. So I'm glad to see that the Arkflex went back to the 2 presses for turbo and 3 presses for strobe. So guys, now that we've seen this light and all that it can do, we really need to see what it can do outside. Because what's the point of getting an example of a light like this and only seeing it indoors? So what I want to do for that is I want to get the Arkfeld Pro. Now I do have an Arkfeld Pro here. Yes, I know the numbers are going to be different. There's only one regular output emitter from this light, and there's 2 here. I know that they're quite a bit different, but they are both part of the Arkfeld family, and this one came out last month. So being able to see this and compare it with the newest iteration in the Arkfeld family, I think it's going to be a good choice. So this again is 2 emitters at 1000 lumens. This is 1 emitter at 1300 lumens. So real quick, before we take this outside, that is one thing I do want to touch base on real fast. So this is 2 emitters at 1000 lumens. That means they're split, and you have 500 lumens each. Now, for anyone who's thinking about this from an engineering standpoint, it makes a lot of sense to do that, because this right angle light, there's not a lot of heat sinking here. You can't really throw, a lot of grooves into something this small. So they need to find a way to displace a lot of that heat. And I promise you, 1 emitter shining out at 500 lumens is going to make a lot less heat than 1 emitter shining out at 1000 lumens. So if they can split that current and get 500 lumens per emitter, it's going to generate so much less heat, and they don't have to worry at all about the heat sinking. They can keep longer turbo run times, all that stuff. So that's why I strongly feel like that's why they went with 2 emitters on the Arkflex. So now that we've seen that, obviously this doesn't have a laser, it doesn't have UV, it just has that one option of the light output, and you have, again, 5 different modes for that. But let's go ahead, go outside, and compare the Arkflex to the Arkfeld Pro. So again, we're not going to touch on the laser or the UV, but we're just going to go ahead and test out the 1300 lumens of the Arkfeld Pro to the 1000 lumens of the Arkflex. So let's get outside and do this. All right, guys, tonight we are outside with the Olight Arkflex. That's right, the brand new Arkfeld variant. This one has the rotating, or not rotating, but the pivoting head. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn this on, and I'm going to cycle through. Okay, so this is low mode. Hopefully you guys can see this all right. Press and hold. We are in medium. Press and hold. We're now in high, and I'm going to do a double press. So this is all 1000 lumens from the Olight Arkflex. Now I will press and hold to send this to eco mode. There we go. Now this is eco, or moonlight. So I don't know if this is going to show up. It's pretty dim even to the naked eye. But I'll do a double press again to turbo. And you can also do a triple press to strobe. All right, and to compare we have the Olight Arkfeld Pro. I'm just going to go ahead and turn this on. So this is low mode right here. Now we have medium, high, definitely a more neutral tint. And I'm going to do a double press. This is 1300 lumens from the Arkfeld Pro. Now I'm going to go ahead and shut it off and long press. Again, this is moonlight. Probably does not show up very well on camera. I'll shine it more at the ground so you can see it, hopefully. And you can do double press the turbo again, and then triple press to strobe. All right, and so one more time, we have the Olight Arkflex. This is going to just go straight to double press the turbo. 1000 lumens. And the Olight Arkfeld Pro. Double press. This is 1300 lumens. All right, now that we saw what the Arkflex and the Arkfeld Pro can do, let's get back inside. All right, guys, so we went outside and compared the new Arkflex with the Arkfeld Pro. Now, one important thing to note is that this one comes in at 4,000 to 5,000 K. So this is a much more neutral emitter than the 6,500 K of the Arkflex. And again, I don't know for certain, at least as of right now, if they have a neutral or warm emitter option coming for the Arkflex. So now I'm going to go ahead and tell you that, yes, there is a deficit of 300 lumens for the Arkflex. And frankly, I mean, given the size, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. This is much closer to the original size of the Arkfeld. And I mean, in doing so, keeping it much closer to the original size, I mean, you know that this has a definite use purpose that is much different than, say, a multi-emitter or multi-option light like this. So I think it is fantastic, and I do hope that they bring in some other emitter options, give you either like a 4,500 to 5,000 K, or even go lower than that, like probably about 4,000 to bring a more neutral color. So also, if they could increase the CRI on this, that would be really, really nice to see. Now, additionally, this does have that pocket clip on there, and again, it does sit like an enlarged version of the Arkfeld Pro, or more reminiscent of the original Arkfeld pocket clip. One thing about that, though, is when you have this in your pocket, you do have to carry this with the light up, or the bezel up. So that's one important thing to note. So guys, this is the Arkflex. We went outside and we saw how it compared. I think it did really, really well. Obviously, again, it is designed to be a work light, more of a floodlight, but I think it did very, very well. So if this is something that you can see yourself using, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and click on that link down below, because that's going to get you 30% off of the Arkflex during their Christmas sale. And again, that runs until 12/16 at midnight. So you can get that, and you can also get your free gift of the Red Snowflake i3E EOS. So thank you guys so much for being here with me. If you could share this video with your friends, smash that like button, and then subscribe to the channel. And when you subscribe, click on that bell notification. That's going to let us know that you guys like what you're seeing. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one.